We've got Nolan with us today. Nolan lives about a couple hours from here. He's driving a 1025R with a mower for his first time. Nolan's interested in buying a 1025R or some sort of subcompact tractor. He asked to come here and ask us a bunch of questions. We'll address all of his questions. Stick with us. Aha! You've learned the first lesson.
Rookie mistake.
You can't go backwards mowing. Now, you can go backwards. All you have to do is you have to hold down this switch like you're starting the PTO when you first start to go backwards.
Yeah, do I need to hold it in the whole time going backwards?
No, just when you first go backwards. Then the whole time you're going backwards, it's fine.
Okay.
But each time you go backwards.
Got ya.
And if you can remember that every time, you're a smarter man than me.
All right.
Tom Sawyer. Nolan, I appreciate you coming down to visit us today.
Appreciate the opportunity, thank you.
First time you ever mowed with the 1025R.
Absolutely.
You drove one of the dealer's lot a little bit.
A lot different mowing on it. I was very surprised by how sharp it turned. I watched your videos, obviously, but being in person and trying it in a real world application was a lot different than doing a loop around the dealership.
Yeah, on their asphalt driveway or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is a different feel. One thing that Christy and I did on that when we first bought our 1025R is I stood out there like a tree and I made her mow around me, pretend, right? She didn't have the mower on, but I made her drive right up next to me, and that made a good way for her to get a feel as to how good she could trim around something.
Even going around your center part here, which for this is not even a tight turn. I was very surprised until I got down to the ends of how tight this actually turns when you're in person on it. I was not expecting that. Even in a small area like this, the tractor did not feel huge. I think it would meet the needs that we have in just mowing, but at the same time, mulching or picking up sticks or when we cut down a tree. I can see all those uses for a lawn tractor like this.
So you saw the tractor here. What do you think of the cut quality?
The cut quality looks really good to me. The only real concern is with not having a center roller, do you run into scalping issues, or is there a remedy for that? I know you've fabricated one. How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, on the 54-inch deck, I was able to put a roller right in the middle. We have an episode on that. Sounds like you've seen it. The brackets are made differently on the 60 deck, which I have here. The 60-inch deck is made differently, such that roller's not as easy to put on. So I have not put one on here. Sounds interesting. You would think on more acreage, we have probably 5 acres to mow here. You would think we would have more opportunity to run into areas where we might scalp, but we really don't. We have less, uneven and rolling terrain here than what we had on our half-acre property. But again, with the 54D deck, it's easy to put a roller in place, and it did help.
Yeah, our property is nice and level in the front, and in the back it's hilly and uneven, so that was one of my main concerns.
One thing we try to do is we typically mow fairly high. We like the look of grass when it's been cut high, probably 3.5 inches, something like that. So that kind of helps on the scalping a little bit too. But it's not going to cut like a dedicated lawnmower. These X700 series or a good quality zero-turn mower, it's not going to cut that well. This is a multitasker, right? Lawn mowing it's sufficient at, I think you're seeing that here, but it's not going to be as good.
But for your everyday general purpose type customer, to me, the mowing looks absolutely fine on it. I don't really see anything that would make me turn away from using this to mow my yard.
We lived on a half an acre in Carmel. It was in the city, and we found that the neighbors there are really particular about their yards. One guy had a large push mower, and he traded it off for a smaller one again because he didn't like exactly how it was. We don't see that out here. Neighbors with large properties all around, they simply don't care. They just want the grass cut. We try to go to a little bit of an effort now to stripe our yard just for the fun of it. The neighbors don't even notice, right? It's just not something that's important here. So it depends on what's important to you, right?
Absolutely.
Whether it's important to you, whether it's important in your neighborhood, that's something you have to decide.
As I said a minute ago, I don't see anything here that would make me think that this is not a quality lawnmower that the vast majority of your viewers would be happy with.
Okay. Christy, our yard needs mowing. I'm kind of glad Nolan came today. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have got around to this yet today. And it needs it, more than I realized. So I stopped you right here on one of the steepest parts of this slope. What do you think?
Feels very stable.
You don't think I can kick you over or anything?
I don't know, you're a predetermined guy, you might be able to.
Well, that's one reason, is I wanted to see what you thought about on the hillside. I also thought right off here to your left, this is one of the most challenging things you can do for the cut quality of this machine, is be on the angle of a hill like this. So if you'll look close down there, do you see any cut quality issues?
Nothing that to me would be a big issue. I feel like it handled it really well. Being on a mower or a tractor even, that I'm not used to. At first, going on the hill seemed, a little different, but I think that's more so because this sits higher than anything I've ever been on. But as far as, did I ever have a feeling where I was going to tip over or the pucker factor kick in? Absolutely not. I mean, it's very stable.
We can make that pucker factor kick in, I think. We'll do that here in just a minute.
All right.
What I wanted to point out on the cut quality issue is the difference in cut heights right here. This is one pass, and this is the next pass up the hill. When you're going up a hill, you may have an issue where, with that 60-inch deck, you get some angle to it. And so you see that once in a while. Now, there are some people that's a major issue. That's why I asked you rather than pointing it out first. And other people, it's just, oh, okay, well, I expect that.
In defense of this tractor, though, I think, in all honesty, that's the reason why most people also have a push mower, as opposed to just having a riding mower, and they don't have something to even it out or blend it in a little bit better. I think that's just kind of part of having a yard that's not perfectly flat. I have a push mower also that I would use in tandem with a larger mower like this. It's kind of like having different implements for a tractor like this.
Yeah, it's never bothered me either. I only point this out because some of our viewers make a big deal about every little bit of difference in cut quality.
Yeah, if you can find something that does everything, I'd like to see it, because I haven't heard of one yet.
Exactly. Let's go try that ditch. What we're going to do on this ditch is you're going to go down to that end, and you're actually going to cross the ditch.
Okay.
And that's going to be the hardest thing you do. Now, I just mowed it with a flail mower, so it may not need much cutting, but the point is just driving along there and trying to mow.
All right.
You'll find it an adventure, I think.
Sounds good.
This is the spot. If there's a spot he's going to have trouble, it's right here. Rear diff lock. Christy, I believe that's a little bit worse than last year. I don't know if the ditch is washed out further, but yeah. Let's go see what Nolan has to say. Nolan, let's talk about pucker factor.
That ditch is a lot steeper than it looks in your video. I don't know that I felt I was going to go over, but at the same time, I felt the sliding that you talked about in your earlier videos. It still felt stable, but at the same time, once it started sliding, as you can see, I don't have the experience that you have on it.
I don't know if it's that or not, but it seemed like perhaps it's washed out a little bit deeper. You never know, but it seemed like once you got down in there, there was just no way to get out of it.
Yeah, I wasn't going anywhere. Luckily, you gave me some tips on how to get out of the predicament, but
yeah, we had to use the diff lock pedal.
Yeah, that's the first time for me. I was learning.
These tractors have a rear differential lock, which locks in both rear tires. You use that in case that one of them's spinning and you can't move. And that's exactly what you had to use to get out of there.
And it worked great. Like I said, it was a bit unnerving, but was I to the point where I was panicked thinking I was going to go over? No.
Yeah, I didn't check your life insurance before you came, and I didn't even make you sign a waiver.
My plan didn't work. It stayed upright.
We've done a couple of tests now mowing. You've tested in some totally flatland situations with a little bit of rise right around our flagpole area there. You tested a kind of a gentle hill, I would say, in that big ugly pile of dirt in our front yard. And then you got to see a fairly extreme ditch bank. Like you say, a little more extreme than what it looks in the videos. I don't know how to make that look real to viewers. I wish I understood.
You just have to experience, I think. And I remember watching in the videos thinking, I don't know what the big deal is, but it's steeper than it looks. Absolutely.
Well, what else could we do to help you have a better feeling about the mowing capabilities of this machine, or limitations?
I guess the only other question that I really have is, in your videos, you had the mulching deck on, and I notice you don't have it on now. Is there a reason for that?
There is a reason for that, and it's a nearly $4,000 reason. We have, you might say, upgraded to using that TKV20 for our leaf collection. And if we get real heavy grass, we use it for grass collection. The reason we chose the mulch kit was mainly for leaves in the fall. On our half-acre property, we had a lot of trees. We just didn't have the time. We were both working. We didn't have the time nor the energy to go out there and rake leaves and work with leaves for hours on end. We found the mulch kit to be a tremendous solution. I mean, it was just like magic, and we've got an episode on that where you mow over them 2 or 3 times, leaves are gone. In the spring mowing, when the grass grows really fast, you can't quite keep up with it. The mulch kit does cause a couple of problems. Number one, it requires more horsepower to mow because it keeps that grass in there and it mulches it, and so it requires every bit that Johnny's got to handle it. The other negative is it doesn't lift the grass quite as much. So you have issues where especially when you're turning, it just doesn't pull that grass up quite as good. But overall, from a cost benefit or a pros and cons analysis, I think the mulch kit's a beautiful solution. Now, you can take them off during the spring and summer, right?
Okay.
You only have to have it on for the leaves. We ran ours that way. Sometimes we would take it off during the summer. On this particular deck, you need to use different blades when you have the mulch kit, both the 54 and the 60. They tend to mulch the grass better, and they're not trying to shoot it out the side because there's no exit anyway.
Absolutely.
Once we got the TKV20, all that need went away. I wish I could show you the mulch kit in action. I've got a mulch kit here for my 54D deck, but I no longer have the 54D deck. Is there anything else mowing related that you might want to see?
I think I might like to try and take the easy attach deck off.
Okay, we can do that. Nolan, to take the deck off, we have to first pull these levers up here. And the purpose here is to let these wheels come up, see?
Okay.
That's going to allow the deck to go all the way to the ground. Do you have the deck all the way raised? You do, don't
Yes.
you? The next thing we do is we rotate this knob down to the install position. That's the white position on the, there you go. Now you lower the deck all the way down, and you can do that with the tractor off, that's fine. All the way down. Oh, you have to flip up that little lever, and it goes all the way down. And under the deck, you'll flip that lever down. Now you're ready to back off the deck. Well, there's 2 things that's nice to remember here. One is that you want to put the PTO into the rear position. So that's moving that all the way forward. That allows the PTO to move freely. The other is to put it in 4-wheel drive. That'll be pushing that 4-wheel drive lever down.
Okay.
Without 4-wheel drive, it has a trouble backing up onto the deck. Now, I find that taking it off is trivial. Putting it on is only slightly more difficult. If you've got your PTO in the rear position, then the only challenge left is driving on straight enough, because you're driving against something you can't see. See this bracket right here, you can't see, but what it's connecting to underneath is a little bit hard to see.
Okay.
So what you do is you drive this tire right along this guide, right beside it. Since we've backed fairly straight up, you should be able to drive on fairly straight. And then right after your front wheels hit the ground, that's when you goose it.
All right.
Goose. Okay, lift it up. Okay, I believe you are hooked, but it didn't go very perfectly, did it?
Practice.
Let it all the way back down again. That's it.
Wasn't so bad.
Okay, so let's set her back down. We'll take it off one more time. It is a practice thing. It's also a patience thing. You cannot get angry.
Yeah.
To get angry, these pieces are too
Finicky.
finicky, yeah. Okay, you have auto connected and auto disconnected. What do you think?
I think with a little bit of practice, there's nothing to it. Again, this is something that I didn't have a chance to do at the dealership, and appreciate the opportunity. But it's definitely something that you have a little bit of patience with, and first time may not go perfect.
It would be a good thing to ask your dealer to walk through with you, and they may be a little resistant because it is a little bit finicky. It's worthwhile, especially after you have your tractor. If they deliver it to you, I would almost insist on them doing it right there at your property, because it's an adjustment issue and they need to make sure it's adjusted properly, and if it's not, they need to fix it. So it's a good thing to do after you take delivery of your tractor while they're there, or at their shop before they ever bring it to you. It's good too.
even having taken a couple tries to get it right, with it being my first time, it still took a lot less time than my experience of pulling a conventional deck off.
Yeah, you didn't have to use any strength,
Nope.
nor did you have to get down on your back.
And I didn't have to take any tools out.
Yep. Let's go get the loader on so we can move that deck. Okay, so you drove in without any coaching whatsoever. The first step we have to do is hook up these hoses. Now what you're going to see here, Nolan, is an example of a machine that's been used. So this is not a brand new one off the lot. I have 2 of the 4 couplers here work beautifully, and 2 of them not so much. And this bottom right one, I can't hardly push it back far enough to get the coupler in. So I use my pliers, and I'm going to show you on the outside one, but I use it like this and I can push it back. See, I get more strength than if I try to do it with my fingers. So these things are color coded, black, yellow, blue, red. These are the black and yellow ones. The black I painted.
Okay.
We'll do these first. I always start at the bottom on the inside because that would be the hardest to reach. Now while Nolan's doing this, I'll just say this is probably the most difficult task of any of the equipment changeover that we go through. I believe there's going to be a solution for this in the near term, and it's not going to be as expensive as the prior solution, just to give you another hint. But until then, this is what we have to do. We have 4 hoses we have to connect. You stay tuned on this channel. As soon as it comes available, we'll be showing you that new solution. So now the next task for us, Nolan, is to lower this right into here. Oh, we do need to connect this up. This is part of the diverter kit. This you won't have on a brand new tractor. Martha, you're not the driver. Now you need to drive up while you're doing that, so you have to put it in low gear. Keep your axle right against it. Watch your other side too. Okay, and if it needs to be steered, you can use your front wheels to steer it. Do you need to push it that way a little? Turn your front wheels the opposite way and actually push it. See what I mean? Look at that.
Okay.
Now let off of it. Yeah, and then keep lowering it back down. You may need to curl it a little bit, or... Uh-oh. You might be able to, yeah, pull that in that way. Keep going. Is the other side in too?
Yeah.
Okay, now pick it up. Unfortunately, one of our hoses is not hooked up, and these are hooked up backwards.
Black and yellow?
Oh yeah, the black one's on the top.
I thought you told me to reverse them.
I don't know what I said. Well, you get a chance to do it again. Now, because I told Nolan wrong, we've got one set of the hoses hooked up backwards. The dump and curl is not working properly. My fault, but he's gonna have to fix it. You know how it is on Tractor Time with Tim. I always make the mistake. Somebody else has to fix them, right? This gives us a lesson on how to unhook these hoses. There's one trick we have to go through. First thing you need to do is let that loader down, and it'll go down without the tractor being on. Make sure there's no cats underneath it. Also, you want to do the left and right until there's no more movement. Just keep running on us. Now, what we're doing here is we're taking all the pressure off of these connections, Nolan. So we're, by getting it totally flat on the ground, we release all that pressure. If you have any pressure on those hydraulic fittings, they won't go together.
Okay.
They will come apart, but then they won't go back together. That is a challenge. Okay, so we need to reverse the black and yellow. How are you getting along, Nolan?
Almost done.
The 4 hoses come with color-coded caps. Unfortunately, those caps wear out and come off. So one thing you can do is paint some of your hose ends. I painted the black one and left the yellow one normal. You know, you only need to know where one of the 2 goes, right? And the blue and red ends are still on, so we can determine where those belong. Okay, we ready? You're supposed to pull this way, and that makes the bucket curl back towards you. There you go. Now we need to take the bucket off so we can go get the mower deck. Let's do that.
All right.
There's 2 clip keys down here. I'll actually take them out so you don't have to get off. Now these keys have a special little wire that keeps them from getting lost. I have seen a lot of owners that have broken that wire, and I guarantee you I know how it's happening. It's happening because when they disconnect it like this, they just let it dangle. And then when they go to hook onto something, they break it. So every time you unhook your loader bucket, always put them through the hole that's provided here and clip them in. Even if it's just going to be for a minute or so, it's just as easy to put it there as it is to let it hang. Now, Nolan, what you're going to do here, you're going to let the bucket down and you're just going to continue to tilt it further, and then eventually these will fall right out and you'll be able to back off. Just for practice, let's hook back onto this.
Okay.
It's easier than the mower deck.
Oh, great.
Take it back off. For the most part, you can use your tilt and curl for this function more so than your lift and lower.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
No, this is a very nice system.
That's nice how they did that.
Very nice system. Okay, let's go get the mower deck. Now folks, remember this is Nolan's first time of ever practically driving a 1025R except for one circle in a dealer's lot. So there needs to be a lot of room for forgiveness. We'll see how it goes, but I bet he hooks right onto that mower deck and doesn't have a problem. I get comments about those two arms moving a little bit out of sync. That's no issue at all. That's the way it was designed. If one side gets down a little bit too low, just go ahead and push it a little further and the other side will meet it once it hits something. You need to lift up and go in with them tilted down further.
Okay.
Now push down as you go in. Now for most loader attachments, you don't have to worry about the pins just to move something around. But for this mower deck, if you happen to pick it up off the ground a little bit, because of the gravity and the way the angle works, it will kind of want to flop out. Okay. So this one, more so than most, you have to worry about putting those pins in, even for a temporary movement. Now the alternative quick attach loader mechanism is called a skid steer quick attach, and that's what all the other brands other than John Deere have on them. This one is just as easy, it's lighter. For me, it's just overall, I prefer it. But of course, if I didn't want a John Deere, then I wouldn't be able to get it, and I probably wouldn't like it. You're ready to haul that thing wherever.
All right.
Nolan, you caught on really quickly to this tractor.
Had a good coach. Coach is.
I don't know that that's the truth. I mean, this thing is just easy to handle. We've heard it time and time again. All you gotta do is push the pedals in. The loader connections, you quickly got on to how to do the JD quick attach with the loader to go in and scoop it right up like that.
Yeah, I think I had, just a learning curve. I think once or twice, we had to try things, but
he's being tough on himself, guys. He means a learning curve of less than a minute. I'm not trying to say we cut anything out of here. So I think he's a perfectionist. You've got 15 minutes probably total on this tractor at this point from a runtime standpoint. So I think you've done really well.
Well, I appreciate it. And, this has been so much more helpful than just going to a dealership and having someone else do everything and tell you it's this easy. You've allowed me to try this out. So that's something I would probably advise someone, if you're going to look at one of these, ask your dealer to let you do it.
Yeah, that's probably a great idea. I hope these episodes have been helpful to you guys. So far, Nolan has just brought to light a bunch of questions that we've had to deal with and has reminded us, you might say, of some of the questions that we went through when we were shopping as well. So I really appreciate it so far, Nolan.
I appreciate you allowing me to come out here and inviting me to your home and to drive Johnny.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. Now, if Mary there gets to annoying you, don't hesitate to throw him off.
He's all right.
He likes to eat on those strings from your sweatshirt. He does on mine anyway.